Here we are, viewers. Welcome to EA40 and welcome to a new driveway video where I'm going to be here with my car. Now, this is an unusual start to the video, and the reason for that is because I can't really move the car from where it is. Just to show you the car right behind me, because the battery is dead. So right now, the 2017 Lincoln MKT is off to the side. It's supposed to be in the garage right now, but my car is currently blocking its garage spot. Now, it is a little bit unusual to start the video like this, but it's also a little bit fitting because I'm going to be addressing more issues that this 2008 Saab 9.5 Aero SportCombi currently has. In this video, we're actually going to be hooking up the car to a diagnostic tool known as a GM Tech 2 scan tool, and we're going to be able to read a whole bunch of codes that you can't really get from your normal code reader. And I did some looking at it before starting this video, and there are a good bit of issues. But before any of that, we have to actually get the car running, and so that means trying to start the car. The problem though is that my yellow battery pack that we have here, it's not really holding a charge and it's not really able to start the car. I plugged it in and everything and the car was just ticking, electronic systems are going haywire, the stuff that would actually like power up was going haywire. I do need a new like big portable battery pack, so if you guys have any suggestions on what I should get, please let me know because I need one of those. So here's an update. None of the battery packs would work. I mean, the tiny portable jump starters could have worked, but it would have taken a long time for them to charge. They're generally meant to kind of help in a pinch, not so much help from a completely like stone dead flat battery. Luckily though, one family member arrived in a 2017 Lincoln MKT, so we now have the car ready to be jump started. And in fact, there is at least enough power for the seats to work. So that means I can actually screw in the seats now, so that'll be one other issue that'll finally be done. So I'm just gonna leave this car running to allow it to charge this one up just a little bit, and I'm gonna work on these seats in the meantime, and then we'll be able to jump start this car successfully. Moment of truth. And she starts right up. So viewers, you joined me on day 2 of filming, and that's because whenever I got this car jump started last night, it was a little bit too dark to really film and everything, so I kind of had to wait until the next day, unfortunately. But what we have right here is a GM Tech 2 scan tool. The idea is you plug this little tool into your OBD2 port. The car then gets analyzed by this tool, and it tells you how broken your car is. So with that, we're going to see exactly what is wrong with the Saab, and I already know that there is a lot wrong that you don't really see on the dashboard, but you see on here. Oh boy. Right, so let me demonstrate how to start up and use the Tech 2 real quick. Obviously, you need the unit itself, which is this. However, it also needs a memory card. In this case, since we're using a Saab, we need a Saab memory card for a Tech 2. I have one in here, but there is also an extra one that I got just in case I get stranded somewhere and I have to get the car towed to like a Chevy dealership. I'll be able to be in luck basically, because a Chevy dealer won't have a Saab card. Anyway, so what you need afterwards is like a little cable like this, and I don't know how to describe it, but there's basically like a serial port on one end and then like a specialized port on the other one. First, we're going to plug in the serial port, which will go in quite easily right here, and then you can also screw it in just to keep it in a little bit more secure. Now, moving on to the other end of the cable. If you're using a car that does not have a CAN bus system, you can just use a connector like this, and you plug it in, and then you plug it in under the car. However, in this one, it is a CAN bus system, so we have what is known as a candy module, and that just plugs in nicely right here, and that basically just allows the unit to actually be able to communicate with the car a little bit better. And so there's the other end, and then we plug this in, plug it in under the car, and we're almost good to go, except now we need actual power. Now, whenever you get a Tech 2 system, you'll have a few different options for power. You can actually sometimes hook it up directly to the battery. You can hook it up to the cigarette port. In this case, I took a wire from my garage, an extension cord, and we're just gonna use good old AC power. Now, it is also advisable to have the car like hooked up to something or running whenever you're using a Tech 2, because whenever you have the Tech 2 itself plugged into the car along with the battery of the car, it does drain a little bit extra battery, so you want to be a little careful of that. But in this case, we do have the Tech 2 hooked up to the house basically, so battery drain is a little bit less of a concern here. So we're going to plug it in, And then before we start the Tech 2, we're going to turn on the car's power and we'll be good to go. So we have the whole system running, but I want to give a quick note that sometimes the Tech 2 may not read the candy module. You basically have to hit the exit button twice and then it'll be able to establish that connection and properly read it. So if it doesn't read it at first, try again and you might have some results. Anyway, we're going to go through a list basically. We're going to start with the engine and see what kind of codes are there. Not every engine code will end up popping up a check engine light, and I learned this because one of the big issues going on with the AC is that we have code P1656 and it falls under engine and it's basically like an AC coil thing. It does not bring up the check engine light though, so that is a big thing to note. However, in this case I ended up clearing the code a while back because I also had a code related to the mass airflow sensor that came loose whenever I was auto-crossing the car. So for some reason the P1656 hasn't yet reappeared. However, the AC system isn't coming on and we'll get to that a little bit later. Right now it says no engine code stored, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna skip over transmission because, well, there weren't any codes for that and it's not really worth me staring here on camera anyway. So we're gonna look at the chassis now. We're gonna look at the stability program here. It's establishing communications. We're gonna see what ends up coming up. So nothing came up for the electronic stability program, which is a good thing. So I went into TPMM under the chassis setting and I do have a code C0800. There's no description of it or anything, so I'm gonna have to look up and see what that exactly means. And now we're gonna go under body, where there are multiple systems here such as airbag, automatic climate control, main instrument unit, Saab information display, dashboard integrated central electronics, that's basically the dashboard, the theft system, twice as it's called, the radio system, compact disc changer, OnStar, power mirror memory, power seat memory, the Saab parking assist, and xenon lighting. So we have a bunch of systems here and we're gonna basically go through each one. So we're gonna start with the airbag, and I know that there is something troubling here. One of them is B0077, which is driver side airbag sensor, open circuit or shorts to ground /B+. There is also B0078, which is pretty related, passenger side airbag sensor, open circuit or shorts to ground /B+. And that B+ thing, you're gonna hear that a few more times. I don't know exactly what it all means, but these are codes that I definitely want to get checked out because you don't want an airbag issue. There is no airbag light on in the car right now, so that is a good thing. So I'm guessing it probably would work in a crash. However, you don't really want to test it, so we got to figure out what that issue is. I'm thinking it's something maybe wiring related. Under the automatic climate control, we have code B1340, solar sensor, open circuit / communication fault. Maybe that has to do with how whenever you try and turn on and off the AC, you don't really hear stuff kicking in. This is a little bit concerning though, because if it requires a new AC control module, that means that it's going to be a little bit tricky because this one has ventilated seats. Most of the Saab 9.5s out there did not have a ventilated seat module. And the other issue is that the people who end up having ventilated seats and stuff, they try and sell their seats as they're parting out the car along with that module. So it makes it a little bit trickier to find that stuff. So maybe I'd even need to find a way to get it remanufactured or something. I don't know. I don't even know who'd be able to do it or if we could do it ourselves or something. Viewers, I have decided to make a decision that I am going to leave the car running for the duration of this video because, well, I have ventilated seats. We're gonna pretend that's the real reason why, and it has absolutely nothing to do with how I just had to jump start my car with a portable battery pack. Anyway, we're gonna now look at the instrument unit and we're gonna see what kind of codes there are. B1720. Fuel level sensor, open circuit / short to B+. Once again, we hear B+. Maybe we'll make that a drinking game. Take a shot every time you hear B+ on this. And that probably also has to do with how ever since I bought this car, the fuel gauge hasn't really worked properly. And that tends to be a common Saab issue. Yeah, so we're gonna have to figure that out. If you're wondering how we get around that, basically you kind of have to fill up every 300 miles. So you kind of keep resetting the trip computer. Right now I'm at like 114 miles. So eventually I'm going to refill again, but that's how we know, and that's how we basically don't run out of fuel. So B1720 is the code here. So yeah, I do want to get that sorted out, partially because whenever you have the night panel running on this car, it illuminates the entire right side if it thinks the fuel is low. And since it does think it's low, that means that the night panel doesn't really work as cool as it really should. So I do want to get that sorted out. Also, I'm not the only one who drives this car, and I just want to kind of foolproof things a little bit more. So that's a big thing to sort out, but B1720 is that code. The dashboard integrated central electronics is another place where you can see some some like check engine light codes and stuff. However, right now the check engine light isn't on or anything, so that means that we're not really going to see anything here. If you get a new car key, you have to use one of these to program it, and the theft warning, ICE, whatever, this is the kind of sub-menu that you use to program your keys. I just had to do that recently, so that's how I know. A little quirk here is that sometimes whenever you select certain menu options, it ends up basically resetting the whole Tech 2 system. I don't know exactly why it does that. I tried to select the OnStar system, even though I knew there would be no issues there, and then it ended up just resetting everything. So we're just gonna skip over that. And yes, we do have two codes here for the power mirror memory. One of them is B2167, which is left vertical motor, open circuit / short to ground. The other one is B2177, which is right vertical motor, open circuit / shorts to ground. Now that probably explains why these mirrors don't really move the way they should. I'm not too concerned about that because, well, I'm supposed to be replacing these mirror housings anyway with ones that actually have power folding mirrors in them. So we're gonna have to focus on that another time. The last time I tried selecting the power seat memory menu in the Tech 2, the whole thing reset itself again, so we're just gonna skip over that, and now we're gonna look at Saab parking assist. And we're gonna see if one of the codes for that is still in here. And we're gonna select no codes. So I do really think that there is some sort of wiring issue related to B+, because whenever I first was even inspecting the car before purchasing it, I was borrowing a different Tech 2 unit and I saw a code related to that, and then I tried it again once I got home, especially after it said like part system failure or something like that, and that was the code that was up. I think I even addressed it in a previous video, so I don't know exactly, but I really think there's some kind of wiring issue, maybe just one specific module that is having certain issues or something. I hope to get that all addressed. So as you can all see, it's really not looking good for the car right now. So yes, we have a lot of codes and we have to figure out how to sort them all out. So I guess I'm gonna also ask you guys, if you guys have any kind of suggestions as to how to fix certain issues, I'm sure there will be some of you Saab fans in the comments. Please comment down below, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM on Instagram or something, because I feel like I'm going to need some help in getting this car properly sorted. It's a shame because like when I first bought it, it was like, oh, it's so good to have a nicely well sorted out car, and that's not really the case. Now I do also have to bring up something related to the AC here, because another thing that we've noticed is that the fans in the front aren't really coming on for some reason. Now we don't see like the temperature inside the car on the temperature gauge, we don't see it rising up or anything like above the halfway point, which is a good thing. However, it's not really good that the fans aren't coming on, and you need the fans to come on in order for the AC compressor to truly come on as well. So yeah, that's an issue that we're gonna have to sort out. I've mentioned the whole B+ thing. Like I've said, there are a few different things on the car that ends up being like shorts to B+ or something like that. So I don't know, is it like a module or something that's gone wrong? I'm not fully sure, but I'd love to know your suggestions on that. The other thing though is that the previous owner did replace the amplifier with like an aftermarket one or something. I don't know how good it is compared to the stock one. I'd have to hear them both back to back. I have to even see what kind of dials are tuned on it. Maybe if it's too bass heavy, I want to dial it back a little bit because I want the audio a little bit more crisp, if you know what I mean. So I have to figure out maybe in that kind of change process was something else bumped that caused a bunch of other systems to go haywire. I don't know, so we're gonna figure that out. I know the previous owner did do the amp replacement themselves, so maybe that has something to do with it. If you guys know where the amp is exactly, please let me know as well, because I can't quite find it on the internet. I thought it'd be under the seat, but I don't think that's where it is really. But that is mostly it for this video. A special thank you though to a friend who lent me a Tech 2 to borrow for this video. I do need to buy one for myself. I've borrowed this thing for way too many weeks at this point, so I do need to get one for myself. If you guys have any suggestions on where to get one online specifically, please let me know, or if you even want to send me some or something like that, please let me know, because I would love to have one of these and it would be really useful to have one. I feel like every Saab owner kind of needs one of these at this point, especially when it comes to getting the car properly serviced. But for now, that is mostly it. Thank you all for watching, and please follow along where hopefully I get these issues sorted out. Oh boy.